Where did the Jews come from? The Jews are not aliens from outer space. The Jews came from that area of the world. They came before Islam even was birthed. Jews lived in that area of the world before Islam. It's Islam that kicked them out. The people who say that have no clue about the history of the region. And they are rewriting history to fit their narrative. I came from the Muslim world. It's us who kicked the Jews out and made them go all over the world to find a place
Diaspora.
to live. And that's the truth. It is the Holy Land. I was born in Cairo and grew up in the Gaza Strip for a few years as a child. The reason I was in Gaza was Egypt ruled Gaza at that time in the 50s, and my father headed the Egyptian military intelligence in Gaza. And their job, the Fida'in, was to just attack Israel. That started in the 50s. A lot of people don't go back to that history of attacks on Israel since the 50s. I grew up with the propaganda, the anti-Israel, anti-Semitic propaganda, horrendous. Most of it were lies. We were told that Israelis want to kill Arab children, and that's why we have to kill them. So they justify the attacks on Israel by claiming that Israel is killing Arab children. And I believed it. I believed all that.
What was your dad's name, and can you explain what is Fida'in for those who've never heard that word before?
Yeah. My father is Colonel Mustafa Hafiz, and he headed the Egyptian military intelligence in Gaza. And the word Fidaiyin means men who are ready to self-sacrifice, to do jihad against enemies of Allah. Who are the enemies of Allah? Anyone who's not a Muslim are the enemies of Allah. Jews, Christians, pagans, whoever is not a Muslim. And even among Muslims, they consider people who don't follow the Sharia or are also traitors. Like if you don't adhere to Sharia, you don't cover your head, you could be attacked. So this is how we grew up. It was constantly looking at the enemies of Islam, constantly looking for what's behind. Who do we attack next because they hate us?
What was school like in Gaza?
Well, I went to Gaza elementary schools, and every morning, my classmates and I would recite jihadist poetry daily. And the poetry was all about dying and going to war and killing ourselves in the war while we're killing Jews. It was very powerful on me as a child to see all the girls saying this poetry and crying and like somebody is hurting us. But it's all programming of children to feel as victims. This is since the 50s. Before Israel was never occupying Gaza at that time. But Gaza had a purpose from the very beginning. Gaza's purpose was not to become the Singapore of the Middle East. Gaza's purpose was not to do what's in the best interest of its citizens. Gaza's purpose was not to flourish and become a vibrant area of the Middle East. Gaza's purpose was to constantly attack Israel. That is all the purpose of Gaza. And that's what we were told in school as children, that our pride, our purpose in life was to go just kill Jews.
This is just so difficult to hear how your childhood was just so hate-filled.
Yes. The roots of Gaza is the roots of hate, the roots of propaganda, the roots of lies. And I grew up there, and I know how this developed into today's massacres that are happening today. It happened then, it happened many, many times, and it's still happening today. Gaza is a very strange city. It's very unique. It's a city without a nation by itself.
Well, isn't the nation the Palestinians?
No, but there's nothing called Palestine. There is no nation called Palestine, and the word Palestine never existed. It referred to people called Palestinian. Palestine is actually a Roman word. It's not even an Arabic word. And Gaza is sandwiched between Israel and Egypt, and it's, in my opinion, it could have been a prosperous area, just like Singapore or any of these Asian wonderful big cities that's thriving with commerce and prosperity. But instead of focusing on this, the Gaza people or the administration of Gaza is focusing only on one thing: to shoot at Israel. It's a rogue city. It's rogue. And look what happened.
I just watched a clip a few days ago of Muhammad Hadid. He was, wearing the whole garb, and he was basically crying and saying, my people have been kicked out of our, land, and, we've been here for all this time, and the Jews came in and robbed the Muslims of their land, and now they're kicked out and they can't go back to their homeland.
Where did the Jews come from? The Jews are not aliens from outer space. The Jews came from that area of the world. They came before Islam even was birthed. Jews lived in that area of the world before Islam. It's Islam that kicked them out. The people who say that have no clue about the history of the region. And they are rewriting history to fit their narrative. The truth is, it's the Muslim world. It's us. I came from the Muslim world. It's us who kicked the Jews out and made them go all over the world to find a place to live. And that's the truth. Instead of looking at, first of all, look at the number of the Jews in the Middle East: 6 million, 7 million, something like that. It's not a big deal. The whole Arab world is millions and millions of people. I mean, if you count the Jews, you can hardly even see them on the map. Why not just welcome them in their holy land? It is their holy land. It is their holy. If you believe in the Bible, you have to believe that this is the holy land of the Jews.
Absolutely.
If you're a true Christian, you have to believe this is the holy land of the Jews. If you're a real Muslim, you have to believe this is the holy land of the Jews, because Muhammad himself and in Islam, they referred to that area of the world as the holy land of the Jews. So if you are against Jews in that area, you're against Judaism, you're against Christianity, and you're against Islam. That's in my opinion.
What if you're not religious and you just say, well, the Palestinians were there first, so...
No, the Palestinians were not there first. There was, the word Palestinian, like I said, is not even an Arabic word. The Arabs penetrated the area of what is now called Israel. They penetrated, and actually the Jews were kicked out. They wanted to live in a safe place. They couldn't be. They couldn't feel safe in their own holy land.
Are there still any Jews living in Egypt?
Very, very little. No. Maybe 2 or 3 families or something like that. They were all kicked out by Gamal Abdel Nasser after the 52 revolution, unfortunately. And guess what? After the Jews left Egypt, the movie industry collapsed. The art in Egypt collapsed. The industry in Egypt collapsed. The factories of Egypt collapsed. The whole economy collapsed because the ingenuity of many of the owners of these businesses were Jews. And they were kicked out by Nasser.
The brain drain.
Yeah, they were kicked out by Nasser. And Egypt regrets it. I think Egypt regrets it now.
Not too long ago, we released a documentary called Dear Infidels, which had millions of views. To be honest, we got a lot of positive comments, but we also got some very, very negative comments. And I'd love for you to just watch the trailer. You may have watched the documentary before. And I'm going to read to you some of the comments and give you the opportunity to react to some of these comments, because I think that while there's this fight between good versus evil, I think that we need more voices of good and of truth. And especially online, it's become more prevalent to see a lot of voices of evil out there. So take a look at this quick trailer. And for those who are listening in, if you haven't watched the documentary, it's available on our website. Let's take a look at the trailer and we'll comment a little bit.
What I have been trained to fight against is radicalism. This ideology is willing to bring death and destruction to our way of life.
They had this belief in this greater cause to return to the glory of Islam and install a caliphate.
Extremists, they brainwash you from a very young age against the Jews, against the infidels, against America, against the West.
They teach them to murder Jews and Christians, infidels.
I see the different groups that are protesting to free Palestine. You're showing your ignorance because these people wouldn't accept him.
They believe America, the Western values, they must be stopped, destroyed. You're raising a generation that will change the society from the inside. That anything that is not us doesn't have the right to exist.
We are naive and we have our head buried in the sand. We don't think that is going to come here.